Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to VinUniversity Global Case Competition, our very first webinar. We are very excited to have you join us tonight. My name is Ling Anh. I'm a member of the organizing committee, and I will be moderating the webinar session today. Before we begin, I have some housekeeping notes for you. Today's session is being recorded and will be available for viewing post-session on our website and other social media channels. We also have live transcript for the session today. If you wish to leave out the transcript, you may click the live transcript button at the bottom of your screen and hide subtitles. If you have any questions for our speakers tonight, please use the chat feature to type in your questions. We will answer as many as possible at the end during the Q&A session. If we are not able to get to your question, feel free to write us at support.vinuniglobalcase@vinuni.edu.vn. You can also visit our website for more information. I would like to also note some precautions before we proceed with our webinar. Today's session is to provide information for prospective applicants of VinUniversity Global Case Competition, together with advice and instructions on how to participate in the competition. All information provided in this webinar shall not be used for promotional purposes outside of the scope of this competition. If you are a member of the press or any other forms of media, please make sure that you do not use the information provided here or repost any information without our consent. Kindly remain respectful towards all of our organizing committee members, as well as our special guests. Please use our chat box for your questions and technical difficulties only. Now, before we proceed any further, may I also ask that we spare a few minutes to complete the following poll on the screen. We truly appreciate your participation in this. All right, thank you very much for answering our questions. Now let's welcome Professor Rohit Verma, our chair of committee and the founding provost of VinUni, to give a welcome speech and a short introduction about our competition. Professor Verma, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Linan. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Xin chào. I hope wherever you are, you're doing well and you're healthy and safe. And on behalf of VinUniversity, it is my great pleasure to this opening webinar about our first global case competition. We are so excited about this competition because it not only is our first global competition, it is also an amazing opportunity for all of you. My colleagues will talk more about the competition in detail, but let me just take a minute to talk about VinUniversity. I saw that several of you are not affiliated with university, but you may be familiar with this new university, which is less than 2 years old, right here in Hanoi, Vietnam. We are the first not-for-profit private university set up in Hanoi, Vietnam, in the country, thanks to generous support from our founding benefactor, Vin Group, and by active collaboration with Cornell University and University of Pennsylvania. We also have several other global university partners around the world who have helped in creating this amazing program for us. Within our university, we have colleges in health sciences, in engineering and computer science, in business management, and also a faculty of arts and science. And now we have faculty from more than 25 countries, plus faculty from all around Vietnam who work here and who nurture our students to become future talents, future leaders, future change makers, and future entrepreneurs. And of course, we are very excited about our student body. We just welcomed our second class to enter VinUniversity. So along with this entire VinUniversity community, we are very excited about this particular case competition because it focuses on one core mission of our university, that is active, engaged, and experiential learning, and to bring people together. So this case competition is a perfect example of that. We will have students not only from VinUniversity, but from all around the world participate and try to solve a very complex problem about electric car industry, about market entry, about very competitive landscape, and how we can make much, much bigger impact by focusing on important problems. So I will have my esteemed speaker from VinFast talk about that a little bit later. But once again, let me welcome you on behalf of our entire committee. Let me say a word of thanks to our collaborators. First, we have a faculty committee within VinUniversity, which includes Dean Maurizio, Dean Zung, Dr. Chung, and Dr. Jenny Chang, who have been working very closely with our organizing team to set up this case competition. We are also very thankful to our advisors from Cornell University and Utah State University, who have been helping in creating the guideline for the case competition and also for the rubric and other necessary documents which will help us complete the case competition. So with that quick welcome, let me hand over back to Lin to kick the show. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Rohit Verma, for that amazing introduction. To all participants, if you would like to ask a question, please type into the chat box, and we shall come back to those questions at the end during the Q&A session. Now, let me introduce to you all our special guest today, Mr. Michael Lohschiller, the Global CEO of VinFast Global. Well, Michael Lohschiller is a prominent figure with more than 20 years of working experience in the automobile industry. Prior to joining VinFast in 2021, he has held a variety of high-ranking positions at Mitsubishi Motors Europe, Volkswagen Group of America, and Opel Automobile. Mr. Lohschiller is also recognized with prestigious awards such as Eurostar 2019, ManBest 2019, and Manager of the Year 2019. Mr. Lohschiller, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, and welcome to all of you from my side, and thanks for having me here tonight. It's a real pleasure to talk to you and introduce my new company and introduce myself a little bit, and also see if I can manage the digital challenge and share my screen. So let's try to do this and go right into it. If you give me a second, that should work then. Just 1 second.
Recording in progress.
So I hope you can see my screen, and we okay, I see good signs, so that's good. So that was a little spot here. So obviously I want to talk about my new company VinFast, and we gave this presentation the title The Automotive Miracle. And let me explain a little bit to you why I think this is a good title for this presentation. As described early on, I'm in the industry for quite some time in so-called large OEMs, which produce cars for many, many years in huge volume, but they have difficulties to change and move to electrification. Now, VinFast obviously is the first Vietnamese car brand and has done in a very short period of time amazing things. Yeah, set up a manufacturing plant in Hai Phong in a record time, and is now really going with high speed into the electrification. And why this is so important and so exciting, I try to explain in the course of my presentation. So let's go step by step. The outline of my presentation is as follows. I want to talk a little bit about VinFast, some facts and figures. I want to introduce to you also the global landscape of electric vehicles in North America and Europe, explain, give you some background. I will then talk about the global vision of VinFast, my new company, and then also have a very specific case which might be of high interest to you because I want to talk about the launch of our first electric car in Vietnam. So hopefully this is an exciting introduction and very helpful, very useful for you this evening. So let's get started about VinFast. So first of all, VinFast is a smart EV brand promoting the global electric vehicle revolution. So why are we saying this? Because we see that around the world, climate change obviously is one of the key topics, and sector in terms of automobile is supporting this change, and therefore electric vehicles play a key role. And it's fair to say that we really see a revolution happening in many parts of the world, and it's picking up enormous speed. So now let's have a quick look at what we have in mind at VinFast, how we see ourselves, and hopefully the video works and you can enjoy it. So let's have a quick look at the video. So Boundless Together is really our brand claim and summarizes very well how we see ourselves. But let's talk a little bit about some facts. So VinFast, obviously Vietnam's leading manufacturing and really of premium automobiles. And of course, the first Vietnamese auto brand to go now into the global markets. Established in 2017, so a very young and I would say fresh new brand, with state-of-the-art 90% automated manufacturing complex in Hai Phong. It's one of the largest in Southeast Asia. And now we want to bring to the market several new electric cars. And this is obviously exciting, and we focus on key segments of the market like SUVs, where we then will offer the electrification. Now, you might say, oh, 2017, I mean, this is a couple of years, but what the company has done in such a short period of time is really amazing. To be honest, I have not seen that in other regions of the world, to set up a manufacturing complex with such high automation in such a short period of time, and also develop cars in a very, very short period of time is amazing, is exciting, and shows how focused this company is. So now let's talk about our vision and our mission, because it's important to see what are we having in mind and where are we going. And we really want to drive the movement of global smart electric revolution. And it is happening. It is happening around the world in many, many markets. And of course, this is something we want to follow up. And our mission is very, very simple: to create a better life for people. We all spend a lot of time in cars, and we want to enjoy it and have a better life for all of us. So now let's talk about our portfolio. And I think it's amazing what we have on offer. And I will quickly walk through the key mobility devices, really, because we have a lot more to offer than just cars. So you see on the left-hand side, we have so-called ICE cars, where you have the Fadil and also the Lux, the sedan, and the SUVs. We have a very prestigious President car, and we now come with SUVs to the market. So a very broad portfolio. And now we go into the electrification. And actually at the end of this year, we are launching the first electric car in Vietnam. And then we go into the global markets. And I will elaborate more on this. So very, very exciting portfolio. And in particular, the move now to electrification makes it so strong. And then, of course, and maybe some of you actually use those, we have quite some scooters in place. You see here a broad portfolio. And also we have e-buses, so a very important mobility tool, and many services, because obviously products is one thing, but to have an excellent service to support really all of our customer is very, very important. So I think an amazing portfolio in terms of mobility, not only cars, but also the buses, the scooters, and the services, I think is a very, very strong basis. Now, let's talk about the automotive industry a little bit more in detail, because I think, and I want that you get a better feel for this. We have an absolute competitive edge with our manufacturing in Haiphong. It's not only a very large site, but it's highly automated. And of course, that is extremely beneficial for many reasons. So first of all, once you have a high level of automation, your quality in general is very, very good. And obviously, it's also helpful in terms of the speed then, how you produce. And obviously, it's very, very attractive to do this as fast as possible. The capacity is very large. We can do up to 250,000 cars, plus another 500,000 e-scooters per annum. We can scale this. So it's really an absolute competitive edge we have here. And we are very proud to have this, and obviously produce now the cars for the Vietnamese market and also in future for the global markets. So a real competitive edge, which is important as a starting point. So that was the first chapter of my presentation, and I hope I could give you a good overview about VinFast, obviously as part of Vin Group. And now let's talk about the EV landscape a little bit. And I want to do this on a global scale. So first of all, I mean, we see electrification growing in many parts of the world, obviously in China, but also in North America, and in particular in Europe. And I have worked now the last couple of years in Europe, and I've seen that firsthand, how electrification is really getting a lot of momentum. And this is also our approach, that we want to now go into the global markets, enter the US and also Canada with electric cars only, and also then go to Europe, where we will sell in the key markets, the key electric markets being Germany, France, and the Netherlands. And then, of course, we have our home market, Vietnam, which is very important. Also here, we will offer electric cars. So a real global footprint. And of course, we will make sure that we understand customer needs, which are very different sometimes in one or the other market, and make sure that we position ourselves in the best optimal way. So now let's continue. And just to finalize this piece, we see strong growth rates really across the board in all regions I've talked about. So it's very obvious that more and more people want to switch from so-called ICE cars to electric cars. And why is that? Because they see that they contribute obviously in terms of the climate change, They see that electric cars are also fun to drive, and obviously that it offers a lot of technology. Now let me talk about the global vision of VinFast. So our vision is really to go with electric cars into those markets and help people to switch from the gas or diesel engines to the much smarter EV mobility. And this is what we want to do in all those markets, obviously at attractive prices. And you see, I mean, this is one of the cars we are working on. I mean, those are really premium cars with a fantastic interior and outstanding design. We work with an Italian design company called Pininfarina. And with this, we believe we can be very successful and be the first Vietnamese brand to do this business globally. Now, cars and products is one thing, but we also work intensively on services, because we have also seen now during the COVID pandemic that many cars are being sold just digitally. So people don't go to dealers anymore and look at the car. They spend a lot of time, obviously, digitally configure the car, and sometimes order immediately just online and don't even have a look at the physical cars anymore. So therefore, we have a broad variety of smart services where customer configuration is possible, obviously online registration for test drive, but also online payments. Very, very important. In particular, the online services growing much more importance. Now, another very innovative idea from not only idea, but what we will bring into reality from VinFast is our innovative battery rental policy. So we want to make sure that people can buy the car and rent the battery separately. Why do we want to do this? Because a lot of customers we know are quite concerned, okay, what about the battery and how expensive is it and what are we doing with the battery? And we say, look, you can rent it on a monthly basis and you will have, let's say, charges which are very close or even below what you pay for gas on a monthly basis. And therefore, you don't have to worry about that. You, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, don't have to worry about it because it's a monthly fixed amount, which is calculated, and you don't have to worry about the battery. This will bring a lot of peace of mind, and we absolutely believe this is a very innovative approach to make EVs much more accessible to customers. Now, I said, and I hope you have seen that in the charts, we do beautiful designs with Pininfarina. I think we have here mid-size SUV. It's really, really beautiful, but we offer much more. We put a lot of effort into safety, and we will have the highest ratings in terms of safety recognition. In the automotive industry, you have various institutes around the world. They give rating for the safety. In Europe, for example, it is Euro NCAP. In the US, it's NHTSA. In Asia, it's Asian NCAP. And we will achieve the highest rating possible, meaning 5 stars in all regions around the world. And of course, this is very important because it documents that our cars are really excellent in terms of safety. And on top, we offer a lot of technology in our cars, in particular in terms of elements of autonomous driving, which will become much more important now in the years to come. Now, this is strategy and our plan, and this will start already next year in many, many elements I have illustrated. But I want to highlight one particular case which gives us a lot of confidence. It is important because it's a case study of the first electric VinFast car in Vietnam. We call it the VinFast E34. Here you see it. I think it's a beautiful car, which has a lot of space. So we then put this on the market and people could place pre-orders. And we have received 25,000 pre-orders where customers also have to pay a certain amount. And we have achieved this within 3 months. And that is an outstanding result. And I have obviously a lot of experience in the industry in many, many regions of the world. This shows that we have a very strong feedback and the interest for electric cars is enormous. So that's a very positive start. And we also had many feedbacks in terms of social media, in terms of media reaction, which is really a good signal, which gives us confidence. So with this, I want to close my presentation, and I hope I could bring across to you, like, okay, what is VinFast all about? How do we see the landscape in terms of electrification around the world? What our vision is, and also show you, okay, it's real, it's happening with the VinFast E34 already now, this year, and obviously then also next year. And this makes us quite confident that we are on the right path, because the future of automotive will be electric. With this, I want to thank you for your attention and hand it back to you guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Loschiller, for such an inspiring presentation about VinFast. We have learned so much about VinFast and the direction that the company is planning to take in the future. We are very excited and we cannot wait to see your very successful footprints in the global automobile market. To all participants who have received your questions in the chat box, we will come back to those questions at the end during the Q&A session. Coming up, please welcome Ms. Amita Verma, our beloved committee member, to give more details about the case competition. Ms. Verma, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. And I hope you can see this. All right. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. And it's so good to see that many people interested in our case competition. So my role is to help convince you to participate in this competition. So I'll talk about a couple of things and then pass it back to Ms. Linan to give you more details about the case competition itself. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is what is special about this case competition. There are so many competitions happening around the world. So why should you care? Why should you worry? Why should you think about participating in this one? And the first reason from my perspective is something that Michael already touched on. Electric vehicles, the topic for this case competition could not be more timely, could not be more relevant, could not be more exciting. Electric vehicles are the automobiles of the future. That is where all of the biggest, best innovation is happening. The major markets are moving in that way. US, Korea, Japan, China, Europe, they're all in this space. Their competition is tough. And this is the wave of the future. Your generation, the next generation, is asking corporations and governments to invest more in sustainable corporate practices, in sustainable products. And the automobiles, I believe, will lead the way. So this case competition, the topic of it, it could not be more timely, could not be more relevant. The second reason is, look at what this case is about. It's about a brand name in Vietnam. Vietnam, which is known as, it provides so many parts and equipments and garments and everything to the rest of the world. But this is the first major Vietnamese brand willing to take on the giants of the automobile industry, right? The Teslas, the GMs, the Fords, Chinese companies, Korean companies, European companies. It is willing to take on the rest of the world in its quest to make the electric vehicles relevant in the market. So what an exciting opportunity for a company from Vietnam, a small country, but what an ambitious and bold goal for this company to set to really capture the market using electric vehicles as their first foray into it. Really, really exciting. And the third reason is VinUniversity. So VinUniversity, as Rohit mentioned earlier, a brand new university, less than 2 years old. And we are launching this first ever global case competition with the intention of developing talents, bringing people together, and fostering this spirit of coming up with bold solutions together. So look at this, this landscape, this product, the company that is ambitious and this university that is trying to do something new and different. And what an opportunity for students like you to actually dig into this topic and really come up with things that could make a difference for this company and in this market. So I just think that this case competition could not be more relevant and could not be more exciting. And I hope that you participate. So why should you participate? Some more reasons. As academics, of course, we want students to have the best educational experience, and we want all experiences to lead to their growth, to contribute to their growth and development. So from our perspective, why should you do it? Because case competitions are an excellent source for you to hone your problem solving and critical thinking skills in ways that are very difficult to do in other situations. So case competitions really bring out the problem solving and critical thinking skills in students. This is an opportunity for you to learn, dig deep into the electric vehicles market, the science, the technology, the market, the industry, what is happening in this field that is blooming, that is just, that is going to be the wave of the future. So learn something new, become an expert in the electric vehicles market. A great opportunity for you to put theory into practice, right? All of those concepts that you're learning in business school and engineering school, whichever discipline you're in, you're learning about these theories, these principles, and this is a great opportunity for you to put those into practice, to test out how they work, and really apply the knowledge into a real world situation. You get to build teamwork. You have to participate in teams of 3 or 4. They could be from your own university, or they could be from people from all over the world. And it will help you to network. Soon you will get to meet finalists and participants from other teams. And it'll be a great networking opportunity for you, not just with the students, but also with the executives and industry leaders and faculty who will be part of the judging panel. And finally, case competitions are well known for positioning students into really good career opportunities. What a great experience it will be to have to put on your resume and to be able to say, listen, I participated in this great case competition and I made it into the finals, or I was a finalist, or I was a winner of the case competition. So really good opportunity for a student in a college to participate in case competitions. But if that is not enough, there are some other reasons why you might want to consider. Just the idea of winning, right? We all love competition, we all love winning, and the challenge of tackling a pretty challenging problem and coming out as one of the finalists or a winning team is quite an exhilarating experience. And the second thing is that we do have generous prizes, thanks to our corporate sponsor, VinFast, which is generously providing and contributing to these prizes. Let me tell you what those are. So the first prize is $10,000 US, and there's some other perks. You will be invited, given VIP tickets to a very special electric vehicle show in Las Vegas, US. Second prize is $5,000 cash, and the third prize is $2,000. Winners will also have the opportunity to explore internships at VinFast, and finalists will network with senior industry leaders and professors from top universities as they present their cases and they get their guidance from these folks. So there are lots of really good reasons for you to participate in the case competition. I hope that you will consider, and I'm going to now pass it back to Ms. Linan to give you some more details about how to participate and what your participation might look like. Linan?
Yes, thank you, Amita, for the amazing information about the competition. We are all getting so excited for the competition, aren't we? Such attractive prizes and internship opportunities can surely provide a great learning and rewarding experience to all participants. Now I'm going to, the screen is already shared, and I'm going to give some advice on how to apply the precautions that you need to take and the key dates for your attention. Okay, as you can see on the screen, we have some important date changes that you should be aware of. The case release date will be the October 4th, allowing you to have more time to find out who your team members are and finalize your team. Our registration portal will remain open until October 15th. However, we do recommend that you register early so you can have more time for the case solving process. First round submissions are required by October 17th, and the second round submissions are required 2 weeks later by October 31st. Top 10 finalist team will be invited for the final presentation round on the November 13th and 14th. Now, a little bit more about our assessment rounds. We will have 2 main rounds with the final presentation round as mentioned before. For the first round, we require teams to submit PowerPoint 16:9 slide decks, not exceeding 10 slides, and a video presentation not exceeding 5 minutes. For the second round, a full proposed solution of no more than 20 A4 single-page pages is required. In the final presentation round, top 10 finalist team will make a 20-minute live presentation of their second round's entries before a panel of judges. The presentation must reflect the solution already proposed in the second round entries, and all team members must participate. Following the 20-minute team presentation, the teams will respond to questions from the panel. We would like to also bring to your attention some of the important notes. The competition is intended to provide a learning experience for students in business skills and to encourage healthy competition and professionalism. Teams must ensure to provide correct, accurate, and current information about their student status, as well as their contact information in registering for the competition. All applicants must guarantee that they meet the eligibility requirements. All applicants must be enrolled full-time at a university during fall 2021 semester and must maintain their student status throughout the competition period. Please check our rules, terms, and conditions carefully. Late submissions will not be accepted. Teams should ensure plenty of time to submit prior the deadline. Delays due to high network traffic or other technical issues can and do occur around the submission closing time. Our committee will not be responsible for any such delays leading to the inability of the teams to submit on time. In case a submission is available on a web link, such as Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive, or any similar technological platform, please make sure that the link is set to accessible to all with the permission to download the documents. Also ensure that the timestamp of last activity is before the submission deadline. If the link and any content is found to be modified after the deadline, the submission will be disqualified. If the file is not accessible to our committee team, it will not be considered. Submissions that do not meet the validation check are incomplete, incorrect, or incomprehensible, not received, or do not otherwise comply with the rules, terms, and conditions in this document will be disqualified. Well, next up, I have some recommendation on how to complete the application form that we have on our account portal. You can see on the left of the screen. Please make sure that you filled in all the fields with the asterisk mark for at least 3 team members. The system will not allow you to save the application form if not all required information was submitted. If the system allows you to save the application form and all team members' information are correctly shown on your account portal, then your registration is complete and you shall wait for the case release email. Next up, we will address one of the most popular questions that we have received from our applicants. In order to ensure integrity and fairness to all applicants, we require proofs of student status from all applicants. And there are 2 options on how to do that. First, you can provide the email address or the professional profile of a faculty member at your university, preferably of someone who had taught or is teaching you at your current university. Or alternatively, you can also provide one of the followings: the copy of the transcript, letter of enrollment, or letter of student status confirmation. On the left of the screen, you can see an example of how you can fill in the application form using the second method. We have also prepared a number of materials to assist you with the case solution process. There are a number of case coaching materials from Cornell professors in the following tab on our website. You can rewatch all the webinars, like today's webinars, on our website. All the questions and answers will be posted together with the webinars. You can also keep up to date with us via web announcements, social media posts, or newsletters via email. Just to remind that you can always visit our website for the latest announcements. Finally, let's talk about what you should expect on our case release date on the 4th of October. We will send the official case to your registered email address by 12 p.m. Vietnam time, GMT+7, together with the submissions instructions. All case appendices will be made available on our website under the Resources tab. These appendices will be updated periodically, so ensure that you check this section regularly. Make sure that you use these appendices together with your independent market research, because we have selected the best materials and information to help you with your case solving process. Now, we are moving towards the end of today's webinar. We are having a 15-minute Q&A session. I will call out the questions that we have received during the webinar. However, I have noticed that a lot of the questions are very detailed. So if we are unable to address during today's session, we will answer those later on. Okay, without further ado, let's jump onto the Q&A session. And the first question that we're having here is for Mr. Lo Schiller. Mr. Lo Schiller, can you please share more about the global rolling out timeline for VinFast, and are we expecting any launch this year? Thank you.
Sure, happy to provide some more details. So as I said, the first electric car will be launched in Vietnam at the end of this year, beginning of next year. Yeah, the car which I showed, and then our plan is to go next year to North America and also to the European key states I highlighted. So it's happening. It's right now. Yeah. So starting at the end of this year, and then next year is really a key year. And it's good that it's happening so fast, because the change to electrification is happening right now. Yeah. So we see huge growth rates. So I'm happy to say that we have the cars then available and don't have to wait like many years. Yeah. So that's the feedback and our situation on this.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Lo Schiller. We have two more questions for you, actually. I'm just scrolling through the chat to see. You have highlighted the competitive edge in manufacturing of VinFast in the presentation, as well as the global R&D network and resources. Could you please elaborate more on that? Thank you.
Sure, a couple of things. I mean, first of all, in terms of manufacturing, first we have a very good plant. I talked about the high automation, which is really a competitive edge, but we also have a supplier park next to the factory. And this is important because you have to imagine the car consists of many parts. Yeah, and depending how you look at it, I mean, some people say it has a few thousand parts, but they're very important components. And the closer you are to the factory and can integrate this also from a supply chain perspective, the better it is. Yeah, so I think the supplier park is also a competitive advantage. And then in terms of R&D, there are a couple of elements. First, we have in-house R&D resources at VinFast, but also in VinGroup. And we also bring this together because it's learning from each other and using all the R&D expertise we have. And we also work obviously with many external companies, be it engineering houses, but also then with other companies, team up, because it's a race for technology, and the faster you are, the better. And it's a good mix of internal resources using VinGroup, but also working with external companies jointly together on key technology elements.
All right, thank you very much. We have another question for you, Mr. Lo Schiller. What quality in VinFast electric cars can be expected to succeed and win over other competitors when entering other markets in the world? Thank you.
Sure. I mean, the question is always, if you come with a new brand, and VinFast will be a new brand in many of the international markets, why are customers looking at this alternative? And therefore, I think it's very important that we have a very competitive offer in terms of the product. I think you have seen the design, but then quality is very important. And that's why this external recognition through NCAP or NHTSA, where they give stars for the safety and the quality is very important. And at the end of the day, obviously, is also how good our service will be. Yeah, and I think we will do many things so that customers are really pleased. And then I think it's also important that people talk about this. Yeah, so word of mouth, especially for new brands, are very important. So if you bring a very fresh new offer to the market and people talk about this in a positive way, write about this and social media, I think is very powerful. Yeah. But we do a lot, and obviously we have very strict quality controls, not only in our factories, but also in the market. So we will do everything in our power that we have best quality in the industry.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Loschiller. We also have a lot of other questions related to the case competition, so maybe we can address them in this webinar. Maybe a question to our committee member. Will 10-page slide in the first round include or exclude the appendices? Thank you.
Yes, it's all inclusive. So it's exclusive of the cover page, but the 10 slides are it. So everything should be included in those 10 slides.
Well, on the very same questions, very similar questions, the requirements for the reference list and in-text citations for all different, for all 3 rounds, are they the same? Thank you.
So students should use the APA format for citations throughout, and we'll make that available on the website as well. We'll specify that. So all references, wherever in-text citations are required, just use the standard format, and we'll put it on the website.
Okay, thank you very much, Amita. Maybe also another question to our other committee members. Can you please share with us your rubrics for marking or any other expectations that you have for the submissions?
So let me try to answer that briefly. Our rubric will be quite broad. Excuse me. Once you get to see the case, you notice that it has multiple components, which will ask you to identify the problem, characterize the problem, come up with solution, and also think about implementation. And of course, we also want to see clarity in presentation, clarity in the written work, and so on. So it'll have multiple factors. We will have some follow-up webinars during the next 2 weeks or so, where we will be providing more guidance. So please hold on for that. But the key thing is that once you have the case, try to look at it comprehensively from a very broad perspective, and then dig a little bit deeper.
Yes, thank you very much, Rohit, for that information. We received another questions from another participant. Will we do one case for all 3 rounds or different cases for each round? What are the requirements for the first round, and how is it different from the second and third round? Thank you.
I can take that one. So we have one case for all 3 rounds. And when the case is released on October 1st, you will get the specifications for what is expected in the first round and what's expected in the second round. So that will be released on October 4th, but it's the same case, and you will work on it in the first round, and a few people from the first round will then move to the second round, and a few people from the second round, 10 people will move to the final round, but it's the same case.
Yes, thank you very much, Amita, and very similar
question. And you already have a hint here. For those of you who attended today, that case has something to do with VinFast going global.
It is a very exciting theme that I think that we have for all the participants. We have a lot of questions about the submissions required for all the rounds. Does the presentation for round one must include all the members, or can one member just do the presentation? Thank you.
I think you should have all the members there. The same requirement as we have for the round three. So it's a team effort. So you should be able to highlight all the team members.
Okay, we have another very interesting question that asking what kind of expertise will be needed for the case solution process?
Would any of the other committee members like to address that? I'm happy to address it too, but if anybody else wants, please go ahead. All right, so maybe I'll just get started. I think a diverse team is a good team. You may want to have a team which has different types of expertise, students who can do deep research, statistical research, technological research. You should have your team members who can write well, who can consolidate information well, students who can look at a broad range of data. So I think if you have a diverse group who complement each other, preferably from different academic disciplines, they tend to do very well in case competition. And I think that's what will happen here as well. Because as Michael talked about, this is a very fascinating industry and it has many different facets. And you already know about this VinFast going global is somehow integral to this case competition. So you can extrapolate and see that you will probably need multiple disciplines and multiple lenses. So that's my advice.
Yes.
By the way, there's a video on our website from a couple of Cornell professors already posted there. You may want to take a look at them. They give you some more specific advice on how to solve cases, especially during case competitions.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Verma. There are a couple of questions in the chat box that I can quickly address too. There are questions asking that if we can have more than 4 members per team. So the requirement of our competition is that you need to form a team that have at least 3 members and maximum of 4 members. So a team of 5, unfortunately, will not be accepted at this stage. We also have a question asking when will the results of the round 1 be announced? Regarding all the important dates for the competition, you can always check on our website. Round 1 results will be announced on the 24th of October. That is 1 week after the round 1 submission. And we will notify people who are shortlisted into round 2 via email. While I'm looking through the chat box for the questions, any of the committee members want to share any advice or any encouraging words to all of our participants? Please go ahead. Thank you.
There was a quick question about membership of the team. Do all members of the team must be from the same university? No, it's not a requirement at all. So in fact, we'll highly encourage you to create teams from multiple universities if you can form them, and definitely from multiple disciplines.
We also received another question asking about how detailed are you expecting the submission for the first round to be?
Well, we talked about it. You have 10 slides and 5 minutes of video, right? And as Lina mentioned earlier, and Amita mentioned, it's the same case. So you can imagine as you progressively go through the competition, you would be asked to dig a little bit deeper. So I don't want to give up too much, but basically imagine a big problem. And then the first part may ask you to either focus on some aspect of the problem or or ask you to look at the whole problem and then give some preliminary insight. So that's all I can say at this point without disclosing anything to a smaller group. But as you go further, it'll be same problem and you go deeper and deeper, and then you make it more comprehensive. I think that's the general nature of multi-stage case competition, which we are following.
I can see also that we have in the chat box a few questions about the rubrics and the assessment criteria. Maybe Ms. Amita Verma, you can address some of those questions.
Yeah, sure. So the rubrics and assessment criteria, Professor Verma already mentioned some of the high-level criteria, but once the case is released, we will also release the assessment criteria on the website. So check on the website. We can't do it right now because the case has not been released, but it will all become available to you next week after the case has been released. So do check back, check the website often.
All right, thank you very much to all the committee members and to Mr. Lo Schiller. We are coming towards the end of the webinar today, unfortunately, because the time does not permit us to continue. I hope that this session was useful for all applicants. You have received great advice from our committee members and Mr. Michael Lo Schiller. If you have any further questions or if you feel like we have not answered your questions, please send us emails at support.vinuniglobalcase@vinuni.edu.vn. May I also ask that everyone stay for 1 minute, turn on your camera so we can proceed and take a group photo. Our technical expert, Mr. Khanh, will take a few shots. So if you can just smile, say cheese, and stay still for a while. Khanh, are you ready? We're
Yes, I'm ready. Yes, thank you. So everyone, please turn on the cameras and look straight to the screen and wear a big smile. All right, so we count down 3, 2, 1. Are you ready? All right, I can see. Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, wait me 1 more minute. I will take another photo. All right, look at the camera, smile. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and the last one, we have nearly 200 people. Okay, 3, 2, 1, smile. All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. It's bright.
Thank you very much, Khanh, for your our photos. And on that note, we shall say goodbye for today. And we are looking forward to seeing you to our next webinars. Have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and best wishes to all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye.